winter coming into Europe, one has to be very, very careful.
Exactly. So we really don't know what is going to be happening.
No, it's like all the doctors here now are saying, take the flu shot. It will protect you. It may not be helpful because if you get the COVID, we won't know what to treat you with the flu or the COVID.
Oh.
So you are in a dilemma.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yes, I can understand that. But again, having the flu shot is just a way of increasing the antibodies in your body. Because the COVID has certain symptoms of the flu also. The initial stages are of flu.
Yes,
so when you have those antibodies inside your system, so it will help you eliminate it in the start itself before it really seeps into the lungs.
Yeah, one part will take care of it.
Yes.
Oh, I keep my fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi.
Hi, Marzi. How are you?
Hi, Guruji. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Glass of water. Glass of water. Hi, good to see you
Pallavi.
guys.
Hi, Sunil. How are you?
Hey, Pallavi. Good to see you after a long time.
Yeah, you can hear me, not see me.
Where is good to see you?
You can hear me. Good to hear me, you should say.
Yes, I can say yes.
Oh my God, Sunil, you're looking damn cool, huh? With this beard and all of that.
A new look altogether.
A new look. True.
Let me introduce you to Saroj here. Saroj is from Geneva, and Saroj, we have Pallavi here. She's also a very, you could say, one of the top lawyers in Bombay or in Maharashtra.
Not at all, rubbish.
Okay,
rubbish. Not at all.
And she is, so that's again her modesty that is saying that.
No ways.
And I'm really glad that she's managed to join us also for this. And
Sunil, from all the time you've been sending me invites, I always plan to join, but Sundays are such mad days. I just somehow, the time just skips from my mind and it happens that, reh jata hai.
I can imagine. Sunday is basically time where people want to spend some time with the families and all that stuff. So it becomes really an issue. So I've been like kind of working with the weeks and all. Hi, Arash. How are you?
Very good. How about you, dear?
All well, yeah. All well. So good to see you, Arash.
Calling again.
Are you operational? Are they completely in your side?
No, absolutely not. I mean, there is like one gym which is after me for MMA training. They are saying they have the concept of one client in a whole area, only one client. They want me to do some MMA training for them, but then I told them like, with all the respect, I don't feel it's the right thing to do. So still I continue with my clients at the home by doing home exercises. But yeah, everything is at home now.
I'll give you some suggestion because a few friends of mine back in London and all, what they're doing is, like the gym is basically a hostile region right now for all the bacteria and the viruses and all to spread out. So it's really good to maintain a certain distance around when you're going to the gym. So what a lot of people are doing, the gym owners and all, they're opening the gym, but with restrictions like if you have a certain area, based on that area, they are allowing certain number of people to use the gym. So suppose there could be in the gym, you could be having only 5 people at a time, but those 5 people are online and they have their own personal trainers, but their personal trainers are online with them. So you could be online with them and you are guiding them exactly how they're supposed to be training with the weights out there. So you understand, so you are not losing connect with your clients also at the same time. And at the same time,
some of my clients, they got their home gym certain. They order barbell, they order a couple of dumbbells, and I go and train them, and they have all equipments. And
that's all the more better.
Yes. I can carry myself. So everything is going good now.
Yes, fantastic. So if they have their own stuff, then makes life easier for you. Then there is no question at all. So that's how it is. So that's very nice. Today I'm going to be talking about some like food for thought. The whole idea for food for thought is what we eat and what I usually recommend for people to incorporate in the daily walks of life, what they should have on a daily basis. Now, I'm going to list out a few food items, not necessarily that you need to be eating that on a daily, you can afford to eat, or you will have to eat all of that. When I say afford, it's not monetary wise, but I'm saying is in the sense of like you cannot, in the system wise, you cannot go along eating all of that in one day itself. But you should just incorporate, bits and pieces of certain food items which you need to have on a daily basis, and you can accordingly mix and match and have them, But the whole idea is for them to be had on a daily basis. Mix and match them, see as per your convenience, and have it. Because these are the kind of foods which we should need to have, and it is something which, and in the current scenario which we are going through right now, these are the systems which will help us to keep us strong from within as far as the immunity is concerned, and also maintain our health regime, and also help us with all the kind of other stuff that we are going through itself. So let's start with this right away itself. So first, basically, let me start with the nuts itself, which we can usually have. I will talk about the almonds. Now, almonds, we all know they are rich in nutrients. They're rich in vitamin E, iron, calcium, fiber. They have a good amount of magnesium also inside, right? They have a good amount of vitamin A, yeah. But the biggest or the advantage of having an almond, it helps to reduce your bad cholesterol, the LDL that we call them. So having almonds is very good, because almonds are said to have more fiber than any of the tree nuts that is available. So they are very good and very nutritious, and with a good fiber content. Now, I usually recommend having almonds with honey. Now, the reason behind the both of them is that it helps to reduce the cholesterol in a very healthier way, and you can enjoy it and at the same time work with your system with a good diet also. Honey and almonds each, right? They have their properties that can help protect against heart disease. Okay, but having said that, that doesn't mean that you should go along and having all nuts with honey and okay, it's going to help me and all that stuff. That is completely wrong. So you should naturally have a certain balance in there, right? You should incorporate it as a part of your diet on a daily basis. Honey, almonds. What I do is, in a jar I have almonds and honey put in, and every day I keep having a scoop. A scoop could be like around 6-7 almonds with honey, and keep having that on a daily basis. But don't overdo it, right? Because we need to work that it works as a stimulant for helping us reduce our bad cholesterol, which will help our heart to be healthy, right? Now, when we talk about this, then we talk about the calorie content of the nuts also. Almonds have a low calorie content. Having said that, if I will say is in the per ounce section itself, almonds per ounce, when I say per ounce, it will be roughly like around 20 to 23 nuts of it would comprise of 6 grams of protein. Yeah. Then after that, where the next is the cashews. In a per ounce of a cashew, it will be around 16 to 18 nuts of those. That will be like around 5.5 to 6 grams of protein in there. Then we have pistachios. So pistachios, again, per ounce itself will be around in the count of like around 45 of them. That's again 6 grams of protein. Again, coming to the point that we all know that peanuts and soya, right? They are very high in protein content. Now, when I talk of the peanut or soya itself, in a per ounce category, they would be more than like around 9 to 11 grams per ounce. So if you can have this on a daily basis, it's fantastic. But don't roast them, don't cook them, because then when you do that, you will kill the nutrient value. Yes? Now we talk about the next. Yes.
I have seen that most of the people ask if they have to keep it in water for some time to make it softer. Is it just because it becomes chewable, or it has any other benefit?
Yes. No, it's just for the digestion. That's about for them to have it chewable. Nothing else.
Okay.
The nutrient
Skin,
value.
some people are also are talking about removing the skin of it and then having the nut.
No,
So
no, no. You need to have it completely. You need to have it
okay.
completely. The skin also has a good fiber content inside of it. So if you remove the fiber, you're basically removing the fiber. It's like if I'm telling you to have an apple without the skin, but the skin of the apple has more nutrient value than the pulp inside. You're getting my point. So it's better to have it completely. Don't worry about it. And then people want to soak it overnight and have it is just for the very simple reason is it becomes easy for them to chew on it and make it softer. But then that is what I tend to do is put it in honey. And with honey, it becomes a little bit softer, not as compared with water, but it does become softer and it's more chewable also. And it's more tastier. Now, coming to the next nut basically is a cashew. For me, cashew is something which has been underrated, understated, or whatever it is. But for me, cashew has always been an underdog. Having said that, cashew for me is far better off than almond for a lot of reasons. Now, cashew is rich in selenium. Selenium, as we all know, is good for our skin. It is rich in zinc. Zinc, we all know right now because of the way we're seeing the corona and all that is going on, it helps for our immunity, right? It has magnesium, it has iron, it has phosphorus also. It has also the phytochemicals, proteins, and also it has the antioxidants. They say that cashew also has certain properties which help to fight cancer cells. But having said that, everything nowadays we see in ads or we see or hear anywhere anything. If you take anything, oh, this is to fight against cancer. This is certain value to fight against the cancers. Say cancer cells and all that stuff. But then everything is just boiling down to the cancer. But cashew, yes, it has been proven scientifically. It has certain properties which help to fight cancer cells. Also, cashew, when it is fermented and it is treated further, it has become what we call as penny. It's a liquor, right? We all know, right? It is said that it is like unlike any other alcoholic drink which does not give you a hangover. That's what I have heard, I have seen, and not yet experienced it personally, but this is from what I have seen and heard. Okay, so also it in fact is seen that as one of the best traditional remedies in Goa, in down south, that fenny is used for cold, cough, and flu. We are, with the Westerners, are more used to having cognac or brandy with hot water and honey. But down south in Goa and all that stuff, they rely on fenny. Even as a matter of fact, they have claimed that fenny has helped them to fight against the corona also. But having said that, that's still a little bit unscientific or illogical. But fenny is something which is good. It helps to keep your body warm, and it clears your respiratory system also. And many a times it works as a cough syrup also for these Goanese. So don't underestimate cashews. If you have an option between almonds and cashews, I would still weigh in with the cashew. Yes? There is another question which I would like to add here. A lot of people tend to ask is when is a good time to have the nuts, right? So usually it's always good to have it in the morning time, right? Because in the morning time you can receive the benefits of the nuts, because during the time of your breakfast you can help it can help to ward off your fatigue, and it also helps to regulate your blood pressure in your body during the day. So it is always best to have a few of these per day in the morning itself. Now coming to the next part is lentils. Lentils, these are the pulses okay? Or if you say they are like grouped as the beans and the peas as part of the legume family, you know, they are the like small kind of kernels that they are, okay? They grow in the pods, right? Pods, not, I'm not talking of the air pods or the iPods. These are the original pods where these lentils grow in, okay? The lentils are very high in protein and fiber. So that is why it is a very good source, okay, for and a healthy substitute of meat. So people who are vegetarian, who want a good source of protein, but they don't want fat or anything inside, then lentils is the one which will help that substitute. So you should incorporate that in your, one of your meals in a day should have some lentils inside. Lentils can be had any form, but don't overcook them. They are something which you can have them as a healthy snack. You can lightly roast them. You can have it like a kind of a snack or something, or you can use it as in your salad or something. You can, you know, just don't overcook them. You can boil them to a certain point, but if you overcook it, you will kill all the properties of it. Yes. Now coming to the next, broccoli. Broccoli, we all know, is rich in fiber, calcium, potassium, folate, phytonutrients. What do we mean by phytonutrients? Okay, these are the compounds that reduce the risk of developing heart disease and also helps in combating diabetes, right? Broccoli also contains a good amount of vitamin C and vitamin A. Now, if I say a good amount of vitamin C, if I do a certain math for you out here itself, if I take a 100-gram serving of broccoli, it can provide you with over 150% of the recommended daily intake of vitamin C. So having said that, in the current scenario, if you can have broccoli on a daily basis, you are done. One meal of your broccoli, you are done with your vitamin C intake. You don't need to have any kind of a supplement of vitamin C. Your broccoli will do the work for you, right? Also, don't overcook it. If you can eat it raw, enjoy it. Just parboil it a little bit and eat it otherwise, or just steam it, right? We don't want to kill the nutrient value of it again. Next is one of my favorites, sweet potatoes. This is something which I would love to have on my breakfast on practically a daily basis. And it's something which I really love to indulge in because it's rich in dietary fiber. It has vitamin A, potassium, vitamin C, B6, and B12 also, right? So for me, it is ranked number one amongst all the kind of potatoes that are available, or to the other vegetables. It has a good amount of iron, calcium, protein, and complex carbs also. So this is something which should taken on a daily basis, especially for people who are exercising, who are training. Yeah, for people like Arash, if you are there, you know, you are training, and your clients who are really into heavy weights and all that stuff, sweet potatoes is something which they should have on a daily basis in the morning. So that is something which is a must. Coming to the next is, again, we all know about the dark leafy vegetables, is something which also helps in fighting, you know, type 2 diabetes. It has a good amount of antioxidants, right? It has B6, it has vitamin A, C, K. Also, it has selenium also, which is good for the skin, as I've spoken earlier. So this is something which we should try to enjoy and have, you know. And what I usually recommend for the dark leafy vegetable, because many times when people tend to cook it, they overdo it and they kill the nutrient value. So the best thing for it is to, you know, kind of blend it, have it like a juice. Just take any of the leafy vegetables, you can just blend it, make a small shot of it, and just gulp it down. You're good to go. Coming to the next is chicken and eggs. Chicken right now is the cheapest and the healthiest meat white meat for our source of protein. So you can have chicken as much as you want. I suggest like you can have it for your morning, you can have for your lunch, you can have it for your dinner, provided you are already working out, you are doing your activities, you are an active person in that sense that you are doing some kind of a sports or you have some kind of an extracurricular activity where you can digest that extra protein which you are getting in with the chicken. So it is the natural form of protein which you are getting in. So rest assured, it is, even if it is not consumed or not utilized fully, it is not going to be stored within your system. It will be replenished. So don't worry about that. Okay. So chicken right now for me is right now why I say cheap. If I have to compare it, it is like there was a time when we used to say, dal roti kha ke kaam chala lenge, But now I say is abhi chicken roti kha ke kaam chala lo. It is more cheaper than your dal and all which you're getting the pulses and all. So the time has gone right now for the dal roti now, chicken roti now. Now coming to the part of the eggs. Eggs again we all know has a good amount of B2, B12. It has a good amount of amino acids also, which helps us, for our body to replenish, our muscles to really work well. Yeah, and it's very important for our energy, for our red blood cells also. So please make sure you incorporate eggs. Okay, if you're an vegetarian or you eat eggs, it's something which you should eat on a daily basis. There is a lot of misconception of the yolk where, they say the yolk of the egg contains a majority, should not be had, right? But it actually contains a majority of the vitamins and minerals. It also contains the fat and cholesterol. You should understand that. So mind you, do not, having egg or the egg yolk will not increase the risk of heart disease. It is like consuming fat in moderate amounts, okay, and it is perfectly healthy. I usually suggest having 2 to 3 eggs on a daily basis for a person who is, who is on a regular intake. But having said that, for a person who is training, who is exercising, then they need to have not 2 to 3 eggs, they can have more, but then you need to spread it out throughout the day. I usually tend to tell them to have boil the eggs. You can have 12 eggs even a day. In my time, when I used to train for like 3 to 4 hours a day, there was a time when I used to have around 20 to 24 eggs per day because I was training that much. So I used to have boiled eggs. In the morning, I used to have like 12 eggs, and the remaining 12 eggs during the day I used to consume by having them boiled. And then I used to just carry it with me wherever I was. And I used to keep popping them every now and then. With the yolk? Yes.
Wow.
With the yolk. I used to
That was
actually...
my question too, because
yes.
I feel, what Marzi said, I feel the same because no, you're a coach, you know better. But I always tell my friends and clients also, yolk is not your enemy. Yolk is not bad. Have the yolk, but depend on how many quantity of the eggs you are having. Now you mentioned 12. Yes, even I used to have 20 sometimes, but that was when my protein shake was over. Now that I do have my proteins, I don't need so much of protein. So now I have only 12 eggs a day. So for 12 eggs a day, I will definitely maintain my yolks between 4 to 5, and the rest is all white. So, and that's because I feel it would reduce the risk of the kidney because so much of pressure comes suddenly on the kidney, and I don't want it to be, because being on supplements and again yolk also coming on top of, I feel it would be too much. So if you could verify on that, that would be.
No, I truly agree with you. When I said 24 eggs, I was on no supplements. I was on a complete clean diet. So I was only having eggs, and that was my only source of protein besides my chicken and my red meat, which I was having at that point of time. So this was the only clean diet which I was maintaining. So if I had to move over to a supplement or a protein shake, yes, then it would unnecessarily lead to an overload on the kidneys for it to flush it out of the system. So having said that, you should know, that's where you need to have an expert to understand what is your daily intake, what you're training, how are you training, and how are you going to burn it out. Based on that only, a diet has to be given to you.
Sunil, on a lighter note, what is the price of eggs nowadays?
To be, it's, I just bought this morning. I bought one tray of 30 eggs for like 190.
In Korean park, we buy it
Okay,
for
okay.
170 to 180.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm just wondering whether 22 eggs is going to bring pressure on the economics of our living.
But I'm talking. This was like around 30 odd years back.
Well, Marzi, it's not just about that. You have to boil it, you have to use your gas, you have to use water. It's all about everything. You have to wash the dishes. It's about everything. It's not just a money.
And of course, finally, your time also.
Exactly, because you need to burn it out.
No, well, luckily I have a suggestion. So there is a machine, a device called egg steamer. You can buy it online. There's a brand I bought, Kent, very good,
Okay.
long lasting compared with the rest of the brand that I have bought. And one thing I love, because one of my diet is a steamed food, one of my diets, when I go on extreme weight cut. So everything about me would be steamed. I don't like chicken when it gets boiled because the water makes it hard. So it's not tasty, it's tasteless. I mean, any hair is tasteless. But when you steam it, because the water does not have direct contact with it, it tastes better. So does my eggs. So I use the egg steamer, one bottom, little bit of water, everything is easy. Within 10 minutes, I will have my eggs ready in there. Anytime I remove the lid, it's warm enough. And as I said, time is saving time. It's saving all the hectic of washing and cleaning and everything. And at the end of the day, taste is better somehow. And the crack usually that happens, it minimizes the damage. So please go for it.
What is it called, Arash? What is it
Egg
called?
steamer.
Egg steamer.
Yeah. And the brand that I used that was nice, it was Kent. So no, that's
Okay.
That's nice. It makes life much more easier then.
true, truly.
That's good. Okay.
Thanks.
Well, that's good. Good insight. Oh, thanks, Arash, for that. Yeah. So, okay. Now we come to the next aspect. Is 1 minute. I'm running out of time. That's what it's showing me here. Just a minute. Okay, no worries. You all can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm not being able to see the screen.
So
But we can see you and we can hear you.
Good question also. So most of this that Sunil you have said, from almond all the way to the chicken that you have said,
Yes,
I feel like all of these that you mentioned can be used as breakfast, isn't it? All of these.
You can, yes. No, lentils is something which you can have it as a snack, or you can have it as a meal also during the day itself. You can incorporate that. Even with the chicken itself, you can have it during your lunch, or even as a dinner also.
Yeah.
You just have the lean meat of it.
Wonderful.
Sweet potatoes, almonds, cashews, and like I said, the dark leafy vegetables is something like a short, which I had mentioned, is something which you can just have it during the day itself, any given point of time. But make sure you have it on an empty stomach, right?
True.
And once you have it for at least half an hour, don't have anything before or after you have that shot of yours, just for that nutrient value to really absorb in well.
The reason I say, because most of the people are like really fed up with eggs, because eggs is the most cleanest, I would feel, the breakfast that you can have. Again, we are talking about a steam or boiled. But some people are really fed up. They're like, please give us another diet, something else. I'm like, listen, your hands are tight. If you want to have a lean body, clean body, eggs is your only solution.
Yeah, exactly. That is true. But a lot of people tend to overdo with the eggs also. They don't realize what they're doing. So for me, at my point of time, what I used to do is I used to have 6 eggs with a glass of milk.
Oh.
Just raw eggs. Simple, break it shake it, and you're good to go.
Would
And
you
believe
please
me,
let me know about this raw eggs things? Everyone, I mean, I never had it, honestly. That's honestly
yes,
from my side. But not in maybe in movies, because it happens in the movies. If they want to
yes.
show the guy is going to gym just to make fun of it, uh, they just show the raw eggs and blend and things like that. What does it really make different between the raw eggs and the boiled eggs? What's the real difference?
Not really, not much. Only thing is with
So
the raw
why
egg, it's
raw?
much more easier to gulp it down. That's about it, and you can just carry on. And the reason why they have it with milk, because milk is also a source of protein, right? So it's
True.
just to gulp it down. And when you have a boiled egg, right? Back then, were not much into boiling and cooking and all this stuff. We would just like get the stuff raw, put it in, blend it. You just have your glass of milk in the morning and get out to your training itself. That was the whole way we used to work along.
So
Now
there is
we
no
come along.
difference of the value
No,
of nutrition.
no. Boiling is again is the same thing as having it raw though. So the nutritional value is not lost at all out there. And
Okay.
what you're talking with regards to steam is equally the same.
Okay.
I have a
Okay.
But how
question.
Yes.
how do you choose your eggs without steroids?
How do you choose your egg without steroids? I didn't get your question exactly on this.
The question is that nowadays we hear
Yes.
that eggs are manufactured. Eggs are not artificially laid, right?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
So sorry, naturally laid. They are artificially manufactured. So they have a lot of steroids.
No, they're not really actually steroids injected in them. The steroids which is injected in the chicken itself. So what you
Chicken.
are
So
actually the chicken.
in indirect.
No, there's not much of a content in there itself. Okay. Is everybody on board? Can you hear me? All of you? Okay. Uh, we had stopped with the part where the chicken and the eggs were there. So they've all been done. They've been laid and they've been eaten. Any questions so far with that?
How about these guys, the black raisins? Now, if we are going to talk
Fantastic.
about it.
Zinc. It's the
Yes.
best. Is the best form of zinc on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So you
I
are
just
sorted with the zinc
almond.
intake.
I had to put my whole almond. I was like, I'm missing
But
my
just
almonds.
just squeeze in honey inside that. Squeeze in honey inside that, and you will be very, believe me, very nutritious. And honey, remember one thing: it's not going to be put on head, not going to put on weight for you because it's already a pre-digested. So there'll be no problem at all with that. And the combination of honey and almonds works very well in combating the bad cholesterol, and it's very good for the heart. So rest assured, you will be sorted with that. So everybody should be having that. Marzi, especially you should be having that on a daily basis. Saroj, for you also,
Sunil, last time I told you, if you remember,
Yes, with
honey
the honey,
creates a lot
you
of
are,
heat
no,
heat
yes,
in my body.
yes. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just, you have
And
to simply have the almonds in.
yeah, but I'm talking about the eating honey, huh?
Yes. Okay, we come to the next aspect of fish. When I say fish, I'm talking of oily fish. In oily fish, we have my favorite, that is salmon. Then you have the trout, then you have the mackerel, then you have the sardines, then you have the kingfish. So these are the ones which are have a good amount of oil inside them, and we are talking about roughly like around 30% of oil intake in there. And when I talk about the oil, I am talking of the omega-3 fatty acids inside them. And when I talk about omega-3, we are talking of the DHA. So this is something which is very, very good for our nervous system, for our brains, and especially for our joints. So we need to make sure that we incorporate this. And even if you are a vegetarian, then you cannot have all this. I would suggest is then you have some kind of an omega-3 capsule, the 7 liver cod liver oil, which is there. you should just have that. And for people who can have, who enjoy fish, make sure you have these oily fishes. You can have your shrimps, you can have your lobsters, you can have crabs, you can have the other stuff also. But these oily fish is something where you are getting, like I mentioned, 30%. The oil content is there inside these fishes, which is very good for us. Yes? Next, I come to the
Yes.
aspect of wheat belly. Wheat belly is something where we are very commonly used to our hearing is beer belly. We drink a lot of beer and we get beer belly. But I am of the notion that it's more than a beer belly, is a wheat belly, is a wheat which contains the gluten, right? Is something which is really not good for us. And wheat also is it is also known as a visceral belly fat. Now, what is this visceral belly fat? Is basically, it is something, it's a fat that surrounds the organs, yeah, in the abdominal cavity. It just completely kind of collages, completely camouflages our organs. And that is how they kind of start accumulating over them. And that is the fat that builds up over. And it takes a lot of time for it to really burn out. A lot of time, believe me. So you have to be very careful with your wheat consumption. I always practice and I preach against having chapatis, rotis, or whatever it is. Don't have it of wheat. Have of something else. By basically, like, you have the bajra, you have the other pulses also that you can combine, and you can have your chapati of made. But try as much as possible, avoid wheat, and you substitute your wheat with rice. Now, having said that, a lot of people will come along, and even Arash will also say this, is that rice has a high amount of glycemic index. Now, when I talk about the glycemic index, is basically something which we use for diabetic patients, right? The glycemic index has to be, if it is above 70, is something bad. There's a parameter from 0 to 100 that they check for the diabetics. So above 70 is really bad, the glycemic index of a certain food item. So it is not considered good. But when I talk about the rice, I'm talking of not all kinds of rices. I'm talking of the old grain rices. I'm talking of the basmati rice. Their glycemic index is low. That is something which you can have. Brown rice also you can have. So they are much more easier to digest, okay, because of the starch content. Whereas a roti or a chapati, yeah, it takes time to digest. Rice contains a high amount of folate. They have water-soluble vitamins, which is good for your health. Whereas wheat contains 75 to 80% of your protein content, which is at the gluten. And that takes time for your system to digest in comparison to your rice. So I always preach and I proclaim that have rice. If you have the probability and the possibility of substituting your wheat with rice, do it. For diabetics, I don't tell them, and I will not also say that go along with the white rice. If you go with the brown rice, or you go with the long grain rice, or the old rice, the old basmati rice, because the glycemic index on those are very, very low. The doctors say don't have it. They have a certain reason for it, okay? But if you do a scientific research on these things, you will realize that the glycemic index on these particular rices, even the brown rice, is very low compared to your chapati. And they're much more easier to digest.
So between a wheat chapati and bread, what is better?
Both are not good.
Same.
Both are not good. Because your bread is made out of what you call is maida, right? So that is also not good. So if you go with even those brown bread also that they say it's a wheat bread and all, it's not good. If I've been given the choice, frankly speaking, I don't eat brown bread. I eat white bread. But
Wow.
if given I till date, and if I've been given a choice between brown, white, or a multigrain, then I go for a multigrain. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. And what about spelt flour?
Which one?
Spelt.
Spelt flour.
S-P-E-L-T.
I'm not sure of that. What is that now exactly? You'll have to help me with that.
I will have to look up the details, but
Please do.
spelt flours is now a substitute for chapatis in whole wheat flours.
Oh, okay. Never
I will
heard
look
of
it up.
Yes, please.
I will send you the details, what I find on the Google.
Okay.
Because even in Geneva now, we have so much spelt flowers everywhere.
Oh. So let's see. You just send me that thing. Let's
S-P-E-L-T.
S-P-P-E-L-T. Okay. We can have a look at that and then try to understand what it is. And maybe if they have a substitute here on this side of the planet Earth also, so we can look into it. Maybe
Yeah,
they would have substitute.
You said something
I'm
about
sure.
bread, that you don't recommend bread, and the multigrain, it's your first preference, then even the brown or white. So
Yes.
now, having it off from the diet is better, or minimizing it? Like, for example, in my whole diet, in a whole day, I ate only 2 brown bread, or multigrain, and only 2 slice. That's all I get. So do you still feel like it's keeping me in that zone of cutting it off, or no, I can still continue with it because the quantity is less?
No, you can. In your case, you can. That's not really a problem because you're just having 2 slices of it. If you have 2 loaves, then yes, it becomes a problem. 2 slices is not really going to have any because you're still in moderation and you balance it out. And another thing is you can even afford to go a little bit overboard. You can even have around 4 slices also, because the way you are exercising, your body and your metabolism will burn it out.
Okay.
But for people who are living a sedentary lifestyle, for them, avoid it. Simple as that. Now we come to the next, that is avocados. I've always been talking avocados, and avocados is again very rich in healthy fats. Yeah, they have a good amount of vitamin B, vitamin K, and vitamin E. And they are also very rich in, and they have a very high fiber content. Studies have shown that regular avocado consumption, for people who have high blood cholesterol levels, right? They should have 1 avocado a day because it helps to lower their cholesterol levels. So if you have an access to an avocado and a person who is having a high cholesterol level, have 1 avocado, it will really help to reduce it further. Having said about the fruit itself, even the seed, the avocado seed, has a lot of nutrient value. The seed is it has it's rich in antioxidants. It helps in your digestive problems. It also, like I said, it also helps to lower your cholesterol. It helps to, if you have certain cravings to eat and all that stuff, those certain chemicals which are released to eat, it also helps to reduce that, right? Your blood sugar imbalance, it helps to balance that also. It also works as an anti-inflammatory. And for your overall well-being, the skin, it makes your skin look very nice, healthy, and vibrant. Yeah, I'm just talking of the seed itself, not the fruit. The fruit, like I said earlier, has its own benefits, but even the seed, which we usually tend to discard, has its own benefits. So now a lot of people would tend to ask me like, okay, you're talking of the seed. How do? We can't just consume a seed, right? So what do we do with the seed? How do we have the seed? Yeah, it's just simple. You just take the seed in a vessel of cup of water, with a cup of water, boil it. Just bring it to a boil for like at least a few minutes. Then you can just keep having it. You can have the water of that. And then once that seed also gets softened, right, you can cut into small pieces and you can even eat that. It's not at all poisonous. It is not at all bad for the system. But having said this, right, they say that it has a certain amount, very fractional amount of cyanide inside the seeds. So if I'm going to consume, say, maybe 100 seeds at one go, yes, I am asking for trouble. But one seed, no problem, but I will enjoy the health benefits of it. Right? So this is what I would right now conclude for the day with the food for thought for everybody. These are things which you all can have and you all should enjoy.
Question comes.
Yes.
So we all know how beneficial peanut butter is for all athletes. We know
Yes.
that peanut butter can help us and save us from hunger and lots of things. One of the main reasons I have only 2 slices of multigrain bread is because of my peanut butter, because I like my peanut butter sandwich so much that it has to be in my diet.
Okay.
But how about the peanuts?
How
What's
about
benefit from peanut?
What are the benefits of peanut?
Yeah.
Like I had already mentioned, peanut has a high content of protein inside. Like a per ounce which you're eating, right? It has around 9 to 11 grams of protein content inside, natural pure form. Plus, if you squeeze out the usually the oil also, you know, if you cook also with the peanut oil, there's also the nutrient value you're getting in from there itself. But again, now what the form which you are having right now, that's roasted. So where it has been roasted, how it has been roasted, also you have to be very careful of it.
Yes, that's the only reason. So if you want to categorize you said your underdog nuts is cashew, that you like it so much compared to the rest. Now, everyone's favorite and safest would be almond, I guess. Almond is much safest compared to the...
Yes. You go ahead, tell me, yes.
Where, like, how do we categorize? How do we give priority to which nuts? Because, you know, nuts are good for Alzheimer's, for elderly age. They are good for youngster, for mood swing. It helps us be focused. Now, in Iran, we used to get sunflower seeds, everyone's favorite. They like to have it like crazy side. Over here, unfortunately, they give it only to birds and not to humans because it's different style. The parrots food. I used to sit and make a challenge with my parrots back in the days when I had a parrot, and damn, that dude was fast, you know, like that's their everyday food. So anyway, now we don't have it. So if you want to prioritize which nut should be the first for us and which second, which third, how do we do that? No, I'll show you the black raisins, also the raisins as well. So.
Yes, but see, raisins will not come in the form of a nut itself. When you talk about the nut itself, I would first foremost to start with the head, that is the walnut.
Okay, walnut, perfect.
Is the best that you need to have, right? Also, the walnut has a good amount of oil content inside, because if you see doctors don't suggest to have a lot of walnut because it has a good amount of oil content inside, which is bad for the heart supposedly. That's when they say you should only have maybe 2 or 3 kernels of the walnut. But it is very good for the brain health and everything itself, right? Followed for me is cashew. Cashew is, again, I would suggest it'll vary. It is very subjective also. Cashew would vary in the sense for you, it'll be number 1 priority. For Marzi, it'll be a number 2 priority. For Saroj, it'll be a number 2 priority. For other trainer, it'll be a number 1 priority. Why? Because cashew, like I said, has certain amount of fat content also inside, apart from the zinc and selenium, which I have mentioned just a while back, right? So which is something which our body requires. Whereas also it has a good amount of fiber content. So this is something which when we are training, we need to have that as a supplement. So that is where it becomes a number 1 priority for the person who is training, and it will become a number 2 priority for a person who is not training regularly. So the number 1 priority for them would become an almond. Walnut, almond. So it will be walnut. For Marzi, it will be walnut, almond, cashew. For you, it would be walnut, cashew, almond.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
now again, now here,
So,
when you talk about the peanut, right? Now in your case, your peanut would be also on the top 3. Again, now having excess of peanut is not good for the system because it falls really heavy on the kidneys also. Then you will it leads to constipation. Having a lot of peanuts throughout the days, peanuts and soya. You know the soya snacks which people have, that also, if you have a lot of it, will lead to a lot of constipation. So you need to have something which is equally, you have a good fiber diet to substitute that, so that will help your bowel system to be in a balance. So we need to weigh out things accordingly.
Thank you.
Sunil,
Yes.
we generally have, along with our whiskey, we have cashew nuts.
Yes.
All right. Is
Yes.
that a good idea? One, two, quantity.
It is a good
Throughout the whiskey
idea.
session, you can keep on having cashew nuts.
It is the right thing to have. It is the right thing to have rather than having those stupid snacks. You know, the chevras and all that stuff, which is completely a no. You can have nuts, you can have peanuts, you can have your cashew with your whiskey or whatever is there. That is the best thing.
Let me answer Marzi the other way. Marzi, I would recommend you pista. Pista is much more tastier.
What, Arish, what did you say?
You know pista?
I
Pista.
didn't hear you.
Pistachio.
Yeah.
Pista. Huh.
Pista is much more
Pistachio.
tastier.
Okay.
Especially, let me know. I ask somebody to bring it from Iran. It becomes a little bit salty and nicer.
Okay.
No,
So next
can
time my house, when there's a potluck, you bring the pistachio.
or you can have your cashew with your fanny then. Double jeopardy,
Yeah.
that will be.
But it depends on the brand of your whiskey as well.
Yes. Yes.
It also depends whether you're having whiskey during lockdown or after lockdown.
As long as you are healthy and you're young and you're smiling, doesn't matter, because that's where you are.
No, in the lockdown, incomes are affected. So maybe desi whiskey.
Yeah, definitely. But Sunil, thank you so much again for all your time and your efforts making this spreadsheet and showing us.
Yes.
Next time, please add little bit pictures next to it as well, because there was like one of them, well, I forgot even the name,
The lentil. Lentil. I understand. I expect
While your lecture, I had to Google it, you know. Like, where? It's not in my diet. Yeah, I had to Google it. And
okay, you know what? I was actually,
yes.
I was thinking something creative for next time now. What I want to do is now is I can start with you, Arash, basically is now what I want to do is now in the next or maybe the next one after that, where I want to kind of incorporate where I can, you know, where you can come along and you can start showing how we can make a good healthy protein shake at home. You know, a lot of people can do that. You know, we can start doing that, something where people can do that, you know, be a healthy salad, or, you know, where people can just come along and just in a matter of 10 minutes, have that thing ready, eat and get out. And you are full, you are satiated completely, and you are good to go, you know. Or you have a shake which you can just pick up, you can just, you know, blend it in, pop in everything, you're good to go. So something I think so we should do that, you know, we can do something different like this, you know, and make it more and more interactive. I'm really enjoying this kind of interactive sessions rather than me just going along and talking. I like this kind of sessions. So let's make it more interesting next time. So I will kind of plan something out. So Arsh, you're good to go with this. Saroj, Marzi, you're going to cook for us some salad?
Yes.
Okay, lovely.
No, Sarosh, not Sarosh. Arush will do it. He will cook it, and he will quickly refast it to me.
Sure. But it's good. What you can do is, Sunil, from the beginning of the, like before your session starts, maybe we can tell all your audience that these are the things that you do realize you do need to create your protein shakes. Like
Yes,
you need a blender or you need.
exactly.
So we tell everyone in advance, and then we all do it. It would be like a practical thing all at once together, and then we are
Exactly.
having a chairs,
Exactly.
quarantine, social chairs together.
Exactly. Okay, that's also something where we can make it very interactive that way.
Th-
Fantastic.
that Arish, that's a very good idea, because in that case, we will be able to see the faces of our lady participants also.
No, I'm sure they'll just give us the glasses only. Huh? The glasses filled up.
Oh, God.
Saroj, thank you very much for those vitamin D drops. Of course, I'm still trying to find them, but thanks for the info.
Anytime. It would be my pleasure to. Now, hopefully, once the whole things is done, then we can all sit at one table and have much more interactive talks and interesting talks all together. I can share you my recipes of my protein shake. You can share me your recipes of cashew and your drinks, and we can keep on sharing with each other's our knowledge and our recipes.
And also,
Of course, with the physical
physical
distance.
I would also recommend and suggest is basically like if you all want to invite your other friends also for this group chat and everything, feel free to use this as a platform. That's not a problem. More the merrier. Then they can, Arash, you can invite your friends across. Saroj, for you also, Marzi, and all the other silent listeners here. So.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, Sunil. We'll do that. Sure.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay.
Who is this who said sure? Who said sure?
Pallavi.
Pallavi said sure. Acha. Okay.
Okay, Sunil, I think so. I should just log off now before something comes to me.
Okay. I hope everybody
really
liked the session. And we'll make it more interesting as the days go on.
Yes, very nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for all your effort.
Thank you, Sunil. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Saroj. Thank you, Arash.
Bye, dear. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.